Sandy Munro is going to be here to weigh in on the all-electric Hummer EV that was unveiled a couple of weeks ago, and by all measures, it does look like it will be a great electric vehicle, as I can now confirm since I got to see it in person last week, and my Top 10 favorite feature video is up on this channel, but the biggest concern has been the production schedule. The prototype that I saw was not a functioning prototype, but GM says that they will be able to go to production in about a year. That's pretty aggressive, but is it possible? Well, the best man in the industry to tell us all about it is Sandy Munro, and I will share our conversation with you next. Welcome to E4Electric, your #1 source of electric car scoop. If you are interested in everything that's going on in the world of electric cars, well, you came to the right place. All you have to do is click that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything moving forward. Now, before I get to my conversation with Sandy, really quick, because a lot of you have kind of complained about seeing the cord that was going to the Hummer EV in my in-person review videos, screaming, oh, this is another Nikola, this is vaporware, they're fooling as well. No, this is not how the automotive industry works. Pretty much all first prototypes of electric vehicles that you see out there, and you can confirm it by watching other YouTube videos, they all have that. You know, these are usually non-functional prototypes and they need to be powered so the lights work and the infotainment system works. That's normal. And the opposite is not true either. If you do have a working prototype at the unveiling, it doesn't mean that that vehicle is going in production right away. Take the Tesla Roadster, for example. I was there at the unveiling. That was 3 years ago. It was a working prototype, incredible prototype. And look, we are now entering 2021 almost, and that Roadster is still not scheduled for production. So enough of conspiracy theories. Hummer EV is going to be going in production, though I will ask Sandy in just a minute. Before that, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by XPeng Motors, China's leading smart EV automaker that has just launched the world's first all-voice in-car system at its annual Tech Day. For more information, follow XPeng Motors on Facebook using the link in the description of this video. And by NeoCharge, already have a 240 outlet but want to charge 2 electric cars, or maybe split it between a car and an appliance without spending a ton of money on an electrician? Check out NeoCharge, your plug-and-play solution. Get one today and use the discount code in the description of this video. Today, we're going to talk about the new kid on the block. I know you made a couple of videos about it, and we're talking about a Hummer EV. Now, you know, I love the fact that the ultimate gas guzzler is going to come in an all-electric form, but I have a problem with a 4-year plan to actually mass produce one. And so this is where you come in, because I'm wondering, you know, 4 years for a manufacturer that's not new to electric cars. You know, they've had Bolt for a while. What is your take on this? Why do you think it's going to take them such a long time to get to a mass production and the cheapest version, which is $80,000? What's the holdup there?
80,000. I didn't even hear that number. I heard 112,000.
Well, that's the most expensive one. But by the time they get the cheapest version, which will be at 80,000, we're talking about 2024. What's the holdup?
Okay, so for me, I don't know. I can tell you for sure that that if we're looking at a pre-production product, or at least a working show car, it shouldn't take that long. I'm just hoping that GM hasn't been standing too close to Nikola and you know, put a diesel engine in the thing and drove it around and said, oh, it's electric, honest. I don't know. I'm totally mystified. That to me is, I usually, by the time I'm looking at something like that, I would say at the most it would be 3 years. With Chrysler, when we work with Chrysler, we can do a car in 3 years. That's from the time that somebody comes along and says, we need one of these and that's what it should look like, till it hits the showroom. So I don't know, GM must be moving slower, or maybe they've got other issues, but I'm totally mystified.
Well, so okay, so you're saying it takes 3 years to bring a car to production. I've heard numbers 5, 6 years sometimes for legacy
Yeah.
manufacturers. Now obviously this is a new type of a car for them. It's an electric one with a longer range. They're doing this whole thing with LG Cam. Would you agree that the production issue is not with the rest of the car? It's mainly the batteries and the powertrain. Is the development of that taking so much time for them?
To tell you again, when I go into it and I see 4 years, I'm thinking that there must be some testing and whatnot that they're trying to do that they don't feel comfortable with shoving it out the door right away. It could be that, but at, 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 at best, or at the most, I think it should be 3 years. But I don't know. Everything inside the car and outside the car and the frame and the wheels and they already know all that stuff. So it must be just the battery and the motor systems that they want to test to make sure that they don't collapse, they don't fall apart. Worst thing you can do is put something in a marketplace that fails. And if it fails in the beginning, it's a real bummer. And if you think about it, GM's had a couple of those where they brought a car out and it was a dud. It came out underpowered, or it didn't perform the way it was advertised. And if you're looking at an $80,000 to $110,000 car, it better be right. People are the buyers of a GM product are a lot fussier than somebody from Tesla. There's going to be no forgiveness whatsoever, none.
That is actually a pretty big statement. I can see why. But so they are rolling out the first version, the most expensive version, in just 1 year, and it looks like it was sold out within an hour or minutes or something, like faster than Mariah Carey concert tickets. And so it tells me, and tell me if you agree or disagree, that they're only going to maybe make 1,000 or 2,000 of those if they got sold out so quickly, and then take another year until they start making the cheaper versions. Do you agree with that? If something like this sells out so fast, in a first edition will be a couple of thousand, maybe?
My guess is that there are some GM fanatics and Hummer fanatics as well. My guess is that those people have snapped up the product. Again, GM is a very they employ a lot of people, and they may not be worth as much as Tesla, but they've got a lot of folks working for them. And if you're a GM guy, if you wear blue and white shorts to bed, then you probably want to get in on there as fast as you possibly can. That kind of stuff is what happens as a rule when they bring out a product and it's sold immediately. But the problem with that is that when when they have that kind of thing, it gives you a false impression of the marketplace. So it's like when Ford brought out the two-seater Thunderbird. They sold out immediately. It was all gone in a heartbeat. Well, that was Ford people buying those and Ford suppliers buying those. It gave them the thought that, hey, this is going to be marvelous, but in actuality, it didn't work out that way at all. It turned out to be a dud.
Right. And so, but with that said, that the first edition is going to be a very limited run, and then they're giving themselves another year for the next version, another 2 years after that for the cheapest version. Is that possible that they will be making the first batch in one way, very limited, almost by hand maybe, versus a very different mass production type of the way in another 2 or 3 years after that? Is that possible?
It is, it is, but it isn't profitable. It's better if you can ramp up your production as fast as possible. And the profit issue is the thing that everybody's looking at. What you want to do is you want to try and sell those very expensive ones, because those options, that's where you make all the money. The plain Jane is you try never to sell those. And in fact, I'll bet that when the $80,000 one is ready to be sold, they probably won't sell a one. They'll be selling an 80,000 version with this option and that option and another option and another option. So that's kind of like what you'll probably see.
Now, you know the truck market much better than me, and especially being in Michigan versus me being in California. Where does this fit? Does this fit in I have an exotic car to drive around and impress everyone? Or do you think people can actually get something out of it, whether, get some actual construction work done, or something that's Rivian going for, more like, hey, I have enough money to afford it, but I still like to go off-roading and camping and so forth, overlanding. Where do you think it fits in the market?
Well, to me, it's one of those. You mentioned, is this something where people want to use it as a status symbol? Well, that is the truth. And actually, one of the most famous of all Hummer buyers was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he was actually the governor at the time of California. So I believe that you're looking at that kind of a person, and I think you're looking at the guys that. Okay, so we have one guy that has a Hummer here, and he got it because he got it really, really, really cheap. Okay, that's why he bought it. It was in 2008. They couldn't give him away. He got it for like dirt, and so he bought it. And he's had issues with it, and it's an awkward kind of a vehicle. In England they would say it's neither fish nor fowl. So I'm hoping that what they've done is they made it a little easier to utilize. So it was supposed to be invented as a truck that military guys would be wanting, and they would put it up against like the Jeep, a Jeep Wrangler type of thing, the extended version, and but it didn't quite work out there. But basically it just didn't sell very well. So I think what it's supposed to be is like a kind of a sport vehicle. So something similar. It would be directly go head to head with the Cybertruck. It's not a pickup truck, that's for sure. That is not what it is. You could use it as a utility vehicle, put a gang box in there, and use it for construction. But it's not something that that you can use for hauling 2x4s or anything like that. It doesn't work at all. Yeah.
All right, so it's no competition to F-150, no competition for Ram. It's going to be more of a show-off vehicle. By the way, Arnold did convert his Hummer, from what I remember, to electric. So,
well, there you
right?
go.
So coming full circle. Is the employee you're talking about with a Hummer? Is he considering one? The new one, the all electric?
We looked at those. I mentioned we have five tickets in for, or reservations in for Cybertrucks, and he's one of them. So we'd have to see what happens, but he is not what you'd call, he doesn't, I think around here we call Al a cheapskate, but really, I think really you could say that he throws nickels around like manhole covers. Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming he's not buying a Hummer EV at $112,000.
I don't think so. No. At $69,000, he's going to be rubbing his chin real hard. He'll wait a couple of years and get one that's used or something. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Now, I know I've mentioned that GM has been making Bolt relatively successfully with a pretty good range, pretty much right off the bat. The original version a few years ago had 238-mile range, was the only one besides Tesla over 200 miles. But I'm assuming, and obviously, as always, correct me if I'm wrong, they're gonna have to design everything from scratch. There's no Bolt or Volt technology that's going to go into this at all, and that makes me wonder: are they able to make all of this fast enough and good enough? You're telling me quality is very important here.
Yeah.
To be able to actually avoid the production hell that Tesla went through.
They will not have production hell. I guarantee you that. General Motors knows how to build cars, and they're slick at it, and they're fast at it. They won't get into production hell. And the car itself, it's stylish in its own right, so it won't have too many problems as far as lights don't work or door panels are the wrong color and things like that. That's not going to happen at GM. If they have an issue, it'll be because of the powertrain. That'll be it. That'll be the thing that I'd be watching if I was going to do that. So, and I don't know if you heard, but we had a little thing between the Hummer, the Tesla, and the Rivian. Yeah. And it came back. Man, it was there was no competition here at all. It was about 90%. Everybody said we want to see a competition against the Rivian, and again, the Rivian is a direct competitor to the F-150 and the Silverado and the Ram. It's not really a competitor to the Cybertruck. The Hummer would be more of a competitor because they're both for sportsman kind of guys. So I don't really quite understand why they did that. But anyways, more people are looking for a Rivian comparison. Yeah.
All right. Now let me ask you a big question, because this has been on my mind, and I've read it in quite a few comments, in the video that I made about the Hummer. But we are in a new era of electrifying our cars, right? Everyone's gonna go electric sooner or later. Some are on the front of the battle, like Tesla and Rivian, and a lot of Chinese companies like NIO and XPeng and so forth. And some are, kicking and screaming, trying not to get to it, like Toyota and Honda and so forth. But do you believe there will be casualties where a legacy manufacturer, a big one, BMW, GM, whatever, will actually end up going bankrupt and just cease to exist because they weren't able to get there fast enough, and their sales have been basically cannibalized by all these newcomers like Tesla? And if so, do you think GM might be on top of that list?
I don't think General Motors is going to go bankrupt, but they might get smaller, along with Ford. I made a prediction a while ago that said that the Ice Age will end in 2030. And I'm sticking by that, even though now I'm starting to think it might be faster than 2030, a lot faster. With the new regulations in California. By the way, I've heard two different numbers. When is it that California is not going to allow ICE engines to be sold there?
So don't forget, it's an executive order from the governor, which can be overturned by the next government, but it's 2035.
2035. So some people around have been saying it's 2025, and it could be because I'm talking to a lot of Chinese folks, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, guys from Singapore. A lot of people, a lot of investors in the Far East are very, very, very concerned that that things are going to happen faster than what I said. And they threw that out, and I tried to correct them 2 or 3 times. I said, no, 2035. And they came back, no, 2025. Okay, fine. So I thought maybe there had been a new executive order. But anyway, at the end of the day, at 2035, no more ICE vehicles? Wow, are you kidding me? Think on that. That's ponderous. That is very ponderous. Because you have to start weaning yourself out if it's 2035. You'd have to start weaning yourself out at 2028. You'd have to be down to 40%, no, less than that, 30%, so that you could make it to 2035. And that's and California's a huge market. That's a very big deal. And the guys that are prominent in that market. Go ahead. It's what?
Sorry, I was just going to say, I wouldn't count on it because, again, it can be easily overturned, first of all. And don't forget, Here in California, our power grid can handle our air conditioning when our heat, our temperatures go up. I'm not sure if we're going to be ready by 2035 with the infrastructure anyway.
All I got to, I know that it doesn't take much to look at calling up British Columbia and saying, hey, we need more power. They've got a tremendous potential for hydroelectric power. So power made by waterfalls and stuff like that. So I don't think that'll be your big issue. I think the most unpopular person on the planet might be the governor that comes in and overturns that executive order. I'm pretty sure that that those things can be solved, especially in that time frame. 15 years is a long time.
It is.
Well, a long normal time, but it's not for car product. 15 years is 3 product launches. That's when you start looking at it that way, that's really significant. Everybody likes to sell in California. You make way more money. There's things that you have to do for California to add the extra cost, which really doesn't cost that much. And so car companies make a lot more money in California, especially the Germans. They make a tremendous amount of cash.
Don't forget that Sandy is a regular monthly guest on this channel. As a matter of fact, one of our other conversations will be released in a couple of weeks, so don't forget to subscribe. But also, he has his own YouTube channel. I don't know if you know that. I have a link in the description of this video, and he's just about to hit 100,000 subscribers. If he hasn't already, I put the link in the description of this video to his giveaway video. They're giving away all kinds of cool prizes to get them to 100,000 subscribers. So check that out in the description of this video. All right, looking forward to all of your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.